Right now, the next steps to come on the lakefront Lake Monona waterfront project as officials select a plan to move forward on.
Plus, 24 hours after an explosion levels a Southwest Madison condominium, investigators believe they know what caused the blast.
And for the first time in 7 years, former President Donald Trump appears on CNN. Hear what he had to say about the 2020 election during a town hall with voters. That's all coming up right now at 10. A big step was taken tonight regarding the future of Lake Monona's waterfront here in Madison.
The ad hoc committee in charge of redeveloping the waterfront has chosen a winning plan from 3 submitted designs. Braden Ross joins us to explain how committee members made their choice and what comes next. Braden?
Eric and Charlotte, we finally have an answer. The committee chose Boston-based design firm Sasaki for the project, which means this is what the waterfront of Lake Monona could look like in the future. But there's still a ways to go.
All those in favor?
Aye. Against the backdrop of a sunny Lake Monona, a winner emerged.
All of these firms were really close. It was a close vote, and it was just a matter of degrees that put Sasaki on top.
Wednesday night, members of the ad hoc committee for the project officially selected Sasaki to take the lead on an ambitious redesign of Lake Monona's waterfront.
Sasaki did the little things. They paid attention to sort of the peculiarities of this town, and they showed up.
Sasaki was also the winner among Madisonians, the top choice for 46% of those who responded to the city's feedback survey.
The preliminary numbers that were put in by the ad hoc committee seemed to mirror what we were hearing from the community.
The winning design included an elevated boardwalk, amphitheater, and nature and community centers. It also focused on restoring the lake's native wetlands.
Commitment to talking about sustainability and using that as kind of the cornerstone for this whole project.
And highlighting history.
This isn't just about Frank Lloyd Wright, though it certainly is. It's about the Ho-Chunk people. It's about communities on the south side.
Now, the committee will work with Sasaki to create an official master plan before they present it to the Common Council.
The future is a lot more fun. This has been a lot of fun, but then we get to start talking about how we actually make these beautiful designs a reality.
And your chances to weigh in are far from over.
All throughout this summer, there'll be more chances for people to get involved and help shape what this ultimately looks like.
The ad hoc committee will meet several more times before they present the final design to the Common Council for approval in October. After that, it'll be up to the council to decide on a timeline and figure out how to fund the renovations.
Braden, thank you. We saw sunshine in the 70s today throughout southern Wisconsin. It appears more of that is in store for tomorrow. Julian Seawright shares what your Thursday looks like with his first warn forecast. Julian?
That's right. After such a comfortable night, we're just going to have another beautiful day as we get into our Thursday, which is all we need before we start to see some rain heading into our weekend. But let's talk about how it's feeling as of right now. Temperatures around southern Wisconsin still in the 60s, around 60 degrees here in Madison, 63 in Janesville, was 62 for Platteville. Now, as we take a closer look around at Dane County, we're into the upper 50s, lower 60s. But again, a comfortable night is going to be on tap like it has been over the last couple. And on top of it is also going to be rather quiet. It's looking ahead to what we're going to be expecting. Well, not a whole lot of activity for tonight. Mostly clear skies as well. Might see a pickup just a bit overnight. But for those who are looking to travel north for the auroras, well, they're looking for a good night on tap as we're not seeing too much in terms of cloud cover in the way. But our temperatures will fall to near the 51-degree mark for Madison, 53 for Janesville, and about 55 for Platteville. Tomorrow, the 80s are going to be for a lot of us here in southern Wisconsin. So we're going to get to that warm spot, feeling a lot like summer throughout southern Wisconsin. So we're in 80 degrees for Madison, 81 for Janesville, and about 79 for Platteville. But we're watching for a system that's going to be impacting quite a bit of the upper Midwest, bringing in rain to some of the corners between Minnesota, Iowa, and Illinois by the time we get to our Friday morning and afternoon and heading into our weekend for Mother's Day as well. We'll be breaking down just how much rain and the timing in a few moments. It's Southern. Back to you guys.
Julian, thank you. Authorities are looking for a man who was last seen Wednesday in McFarland. This is 39-year-old Alexander Davis. The last time anyone spoke with him was May 3rd. He hasn't been seen or heard from since. 6 feet 4 inches tall, about 240 pounds. He may be driving a red Subaru Impreza. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to call McFarland Police. The number there at the bottom of your screen. And we are learning more tonight about the possible cause of last night's explosion at a Southwest Madison condominium that left nearly 24 people without a home.
Madison fire investigators believe a propane source inside a home's garage may be to blame, but they note the investigation is far from over. The explosion happened shortly before 6 p.m. at a Windsor condominium unit that is off of South Gammon Road and Park Ridge Drive. Firefighters say 8 condo units and 8 neighboring units were damaged from the blast and are currently unlivable, leaving 21 people displaced. One nearby resident, a high school student home at the time of the blast, says that blast shook her home.
We had like a bunch of pictures and portraits up, and they all like fell to the ground, and like glass was everywhere. My mom also had some china like up displayed in our kitchen, and that all fell and crashed.
4 people were hurt in the blast, but fortunately no one was killed. As of right now, there is no dollar estimate on the damage. While a propane source is a possible source of the explosion that is still not fully determined, the good news, though, is that the blast did not come from a gas leak. A spokesperson for Madison Gas and Electric said crews turned off power and natural gas lines in the area last night as a precaution, but no evidence of a gas leak was found. MG&E says it will continue to assist in the investigation as needed. So those left without a home from the explosion are being helped out by the American Red Cross. While 16 units were impacted, volunteers say they're helping 5 households with meals, lodging, and personal items. It's unclear how long the Red Cross will be helping, as volunteers are still considering a timeline for repairs.
Longtime Madison residents may recall a similar incident back in 1983 that happened less than a mile away. Officials say that explosion was caused by high methane levels from a landfill. And back in '83, it was similar to what we saw yesterday. Emergency response crews filling the road, area residents evacuated. Investigators came in and found that compressed pockets of methane were leaking into people's homes from the landfill. And we spoke with a former city engineer who recalls being there in the immediate aftermath back in '83, ripping open the landfill to clean it.
Everybody was involved. You know, we'd work during the day. We'd put in 12 to 16-hour days. We'd go out in the field all day for 8 to 10 hours, then go back for meetings at night with the city department heads in the mayor's office.
Officials say they checked the air probes just this morning near the exploded condo on Gammon and found a 0% level for methane.
Group Health Cooperative says a technical issue was the cause of a false active shooter alert that was sent out to employees at its East Clinic this morning. All employees were evacuated from the building, and police quickly determined there was no threat. GHC says it happened during a testing of an employee notification system and that new safeguards are in place to prevent such an alert from being sent out again.
You know, given the world that we live in today, we understand how distressing a situation this was for both our employees and for the affected patients. And for that, we really want to apologize. This was definitely not our intention.
Wisconsin lawmakers hope the threat of bigger fines and longer jail sentences can help curb reckless driving across the state. Governor Evers signed 2 bills into law today that will crack down on reckless drivers and carjackings. One bill doubles the fines for reckless driving. Drivers would pay $400 for a first offense and $1,000 for subsequent offenses. If there's bodily harm involved, that fine jumps to $4,000. If it's great bodily harm, drivers could face a 6-year prison sentence, up from 3.5. Another bill signed by Evers designates carjacking as a formal crime and raises the maximum prison sentence to 60 years.
Well, if you live on the northeast side of Oregon, the Village is asking you to run your faucets for several minutes tonight. A water operator there noticed residual chlorine levels in the water supply in a well were higher than normal, and that affected well is located on Hillcrest Drive and has since been shut down. Again, this is in Oregon. Anyone living on the northeast side, such as near North Perry Parkway, Mary Hill Drive, Oak Street, and Hillcrest Drive, you're asked to flush your homes by letting those faucets run for a few minutes. In a CNN-hosted town hall tonight, former President Donald Trump repeated claims that the 2020 presidential election was rigged and stolen from him.
It came during the first question during a New Hampshire town hall with Republican and undecided voters.
Unless you're a very stupid person, you see what happens. A lot of the people A lot of the people in this audience, and maybe a couple that don't, but most people understand what happened. That was a rigged election, and it's a shame that we had to go through it. It's very bad for our country.
Trump made those comments despite there being zero evidence of widespread voter fraud that would have impacted the 2020 election. Of all declared Republican candidates, he's considered the front runner for the GOP nomination next summer. The town hall comes just one day after a Manhattan jury found him liable for sexual abuse and defamation in the civil trial brought on by E. Jean Carroll. Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway is one of 50 Democratic leaders nationwide rallying around President Joe Biden's 2024 re-election bid. The president announced his campaign National Advisory Board, and Mayor Rhodes Conway is included. Also on the board are some of Biden's primary rivals from 2020, Senators Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, and Amy Klobuchar. The announcement comes as Biden, the oldest commander-in-chief at 80 years old, is seeking to dismiss concerns among other Democrats regarding his age. If re-elected, he would be 86 years old at the end of a second term.
The reality is it's a witch hunt.
Strong words from New York Congressman George Santos after being arrested and indicted on 13 federal charges, including counts of wire fraud, money laundering, and theft of public funds. He pleaded not guilty to those charges. Prosecutors say Santos used campaign funds on personal expenses and fraudulently applied for COVID-related unemployment benefits. He was released on a $500,000 bond and surrendered his passport. If convicted of the top counts in the indictment, Santos faces 20 years in prison, although it's likely he'd receive a lesser sentence. Santos has faced some bipartisan calls to resign even before the indictment after it was revealed he fabricated many key details about his life during his campaign. More local stories are ahead at 10.
For the third straight year, B-Cycle is expanding, this time to Fitchburg. We'll share where in town you can rent an e-bike for a summer ride.
At Stanton Optical, independent eye doctors are available for eye exams whenever you need one. You should have seen me before I got mine. You're so quiet. Are you mad at me? Book your free same-day eye exam at Stanton Optical today.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
Spring into action and save on stressless seating at the Century House. Now get $400 off all classic power recliners, signature-based recliners and ottomans, and cross-based recliners and ottomans. And get $400 off most sofas and love seats. Imagine how much you can save building your dream sectional. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
How do we decide what hotel to book? Fear not.
I got you. Choice Hotels has a hotel for every type of stay. Like a comfort with the kiddos.
Spacious.
That's what they all say. Stay twice and get a $50 gift card when you book direct at choicehotels.com.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors for 35 years. Call today for free information.
Call 800-550-5543.
It was an excellent experience, and I would highly recommend them to anyone. Thank you so much. We are really pleased with our windows and cannot wait for a cooler summer and a warmer winter. Thanks a lot.
Stanton Optical is the best value in eye care. We did the math, people. For $79, you get all this. That costs over $400 at LensCrafters, over $200 at Walmart, and over $150 at America's Best. When it comes to value, Stanton Optical is the top bird.
A home explosion rocks Madison's west side.
Like a bomb went off.
News 3 Now was first on the scene.
I saw the whole thing. 3 babies was injured walking with their mom.
We'll continue to bring you timely updates and answers. News 3 Now, your trusted source for breaking news and continuous coverage.
In western Wisconsin, the town of Shelby will soon lose its only police officer. Town board members aren't sure what to do.
They know there's a need for law enforcement in the 4,500-person town, but they're also concerned on where money to make that happen will come from. Officer Sean Horton has been the town's only officer since 2020, but he's retiring. The La Crosse County Sheriff's Office picks up some of Shelby's calls, but the easiest fix would be for the town to hire more officers.
Having coverage in the town of Shelby not only helps their residents, but it also gives the entire county more coverage and more resources.
With budget constraints and short staff, none of those options is simple. Board members say they recognize the importance of public safety and will come to a solution. It just may take a little bit of time.
Police in Prairie du Chien say a 57-year-old woman was killed yesterday at the 3M plant there. She's been identified as 57-year-old Tricia Jones of Harpers Ferry, Iowa. Police say an industrial incident occurred but are not sharing many other details. OSHA is now investigating. An abandoned Far East Side movie theater may soon meet its fate as Madison considers its demolition. The city is thinking about tearing down the former Eastgate Cinemas, which has now stood empty since 2015. It's located just east of Highway 151 at the I-3990 interchange. Madison's Plan Commission will consider a demolition request in a meeting next month. The plan is to replace the theater and its parking lot with landscape grading. An application for the demolition request targets October as a completion date, if not sooner.
A Madison teacher is receiving national recognition tonight. One City Schools' Tiffany Ortego is one of 7 U.S. teachers honored by the National Alliance for Public Charter Schools. She's a recipient of the Changemaker Award, which goes to several deserving teachers each year who've helped shape their students' educational journey. Ortego got into teaching because of the impact former teachers had on her.
I knew I always wanted to go into teaching ever since I was in high school. I was very fortunate to have a lot of influential teachers growing up in my life. And I knew that not everybody had the same experience as me. So starting from there, I devoted myself to trying to create as many safe and loving spaces as possible. When a child feels heard and seen and validated, they are capable of so much.
She's taught at One City for 5 years now. In that time, she has introduced a preschool garden space, the school's volunteer reading and early literacy programs. B-Cycle celebrated its expansion to Fitchburg with a special ribbon-cutting ceremony this afternoon. The Waterloo-based bike-sharing company has opened 7 stations throughout town. And here's a look at where those stations are. Some are near areas of business, like outside the Oak Bank. Others are in more residential areas, such as one Terra Vesa neighborhood. B-Cycle officials say they've grown their system 60% in just the last 3 years.
And I think that just speaks to the volume of the buy-in from city and state representatives and community members who want to see bikes as an option for transportation, and not only transportation, just fun recreational activities.
The expansion was made possible by grants from the state's transportation alternative programs. B-Cycle expanded to Monona in 2021 and McFarland last year, so it's a good guess to believe there will be another expansion for 2024. Well, more days like today, Julian, there'll be plenty of cyclists out and about.
And that's the good news, because it's finally getting close to summer. You got to be outside, so luckily we do have another day where we can enjoy the good outdoors. Let's get straight into what we have for our weather headlines. We are going to be expecting for another day of warmth and sunshine and dry weather here in southern Wisconsin by the time we get into tomorrow. We're not expecting over the next about 24 hours really any changes until we get into the late overnight hours for Thursday and in for Friday, where we're expecting showers and potentially even some isolated thunderstorms throughout much of southern Wisconsin and even for us here in Dane County. But as we get into Mother's Day weekend, that trend is going to continue. Showers and thunderstorms is what we're going to be watching for. But let's take a look at what we have for tonight. A quiet, comfortable night, lower 50s is what we're expecting, and mostly clear skies for a majority of the night as well. And the aurora is going to be in effect for us once again. So for those who are in the northern parts of Wisconsin, or you want to take the trip for tonight, you got a little extra time on your hands, traveling north just near the Wisconsin Rapids is where you're going to have the best opportunity to be able to see the auroras. Otherwise, probably not going to be seeing it too much around Madison. But the good news is for tomorrow, again, it's going to be warm. Lower 80s for us here in Madison, 81 in Janesville, with 79 in Platteville, Tomorrow's just going to feel like flat-out summer before we start to see some changes come Friday. We have a small marginal risk for parts of Grant and Lafayette counties, mainly into the south and west eastern side of those areas. Otherwise, again, it's going to be level 1 out of 5, small risk for us to see any kind of severe weather for them. But outside of that, general thunderstorms and showers is what we're going to be expecting over the next several days. Getting into most of our Thursday, though, it's going to be rather quiet. Once we get to around 10 o'clock, we're going to start to see the southwestern side of southern Wisconsin start to get hit with some shower activity from Prairie du Chien, Platteville, Monroe, and even parts of Janesville. And then as we get closer to the overnights, it's going to start to make a couple of waves near Dane County. But the emphasis is mainly going to be on the south and western side between parts of southern Minnesota and northern Iowa. As we get into around 7 o'clock, that's when we're going to be watching for a bit more of that widespread shower and thunderstorm activity. The temperatures stay within the 60s. The showers start to pretty much end once we get to our Friday afternoon, but will return once we get into the overnight heading into our Saturday. So Saturday and Sunday is where we're watching for another resurgence of some showers and storms throughout much of southern Wisconsin. It's going to be a bit of on and off, but nevertheless, we are looking for the course of the 3 days to be seeing about a half to maybe 3/4 of an inch around Dane County. Areas north of Madison could be seeing a bit more, between 3/4 to an inch. But the southwest is where we're going to be watching for us to see a bit more of that rain that will accumulate over the weekend heading into our Monday. Otherwise, Mother's Day is going to be a bit of a wet mess and could be even seeing a couple isolated thunderstorms. We're cooling down pretty significantly as we get into our Sunday as well, but otherwise we're going to be seeing, going into next week, a little bit more of the temperatures staying within the 70s and some sunshine as well. We're going to be a bit near the seasonable point, but otherwise things are going to be rather quiet once we're done with this weekend.
And coming up in sports, Giannis makes history a day after he was snubbed by the NBA. The latest honor the Bucks big man received is next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious accident? It's free. Yes, free, as in it won't cost you anything to speak with us. There's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
With my low E, my game is in the gutter.
Low E, also known as low energy, is wreaking havoc on millions.
With my low E, I can no longer express myself through dance.
I can't even pull out the hose.
Thankfully, there's Planet Fitness, a judgment-free zone for that big fitness energy, giving you a post-workout glow all day.
Now everyone wants a taste of my salsa.
Thanks, Planet Fitness. Join for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends May 10th.
Now I can untangle anyone's hose.
Celebrate Memorial Day at Brothers Maine, where unbeatable appliance deals come with expert advice. Enjoy special prices and free delivery on top brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, and KitchenAid. Visit us today and feel like family at Brothers Maine.
Are record high energy and water costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With inflation rising at record levels and incomes not keeping pace, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive. While you may not ask for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to be without heat, water, or power. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.heat.help.
Need life insurance? SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And SelectQuote found his wife, Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Have you ever been challenged, been tried, made a pact with your own limits? Have you been here, there, places no one should go? If you have, then you know that whatever you're capable of, so are we. No wonder Ford SUVs lead in brand loyalty. Now get a new Ford Edge with 0% APR financing for 36 months, only at your Wisconsin and UP Ford dealers.
Gruber Law Offices, Gruber Law Offices, Gruber Law Offices. For over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices has had one goal: to provide top-notch legal services. One call, one call, one call, one call, that's all.
A day after being left off the league's all-defensive team, Giannis was unanimously selected to the All-NBA first team for the 5th straight season, and the Bucks' big man made history in the process. Giannis passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most first-team selections in franchise history. The Greek Freak averaged a career-high 31 points, just under 12 rebounds, and nearly 6 assists per game this season. Pressure is one word that comes to mind when you think of Jordan Love for this upcoming season. He's replacing a future Hall of Famer, and the 2020 first-round pick is now the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. And experience, well, he doesn't have much. Besides one start in the last 3 seasons, all he has is a bunch of mop-up duty late in games. But that still counts as reps, and to Love, a bunch of starts or not, under his belt, well, what he does have is confidence.
It's pressure, but that's what comes with the position. Like, that's what I signed up for. That's what I knew I was getting myself into. And it comes down to me just make the most of that.
Believes in himself, first off. That's number one. You gotta believe in yourself, or nobody else is gonna believe in you. So he believes in himself. He cares about everybody around him, and we've seen him just come in consistently and just work.
Entering the Big Ten softball tournament, the Badgers were buzzing. Wisconsin's coming off a sweep where they beat Iowa 15-1. So the vibes were high for their first-round matchup against Illinois. Only challenging part, the Illini are the hosts of the tourney. Home field advantage, though, didn't bother the Badgers early. Second inning, Molly Schlosser gives one to a ride to center field to put Bucky up 2-0. But then the third inning was one to forget. Bases loaded for Daniel Davis, and everybody's coming home. The grand slam puts Illinois up 6-2. Badgers down to their last out. They're down by 4. Rubber match between the Brewers and Dodgers. Wade Miley on the mound for the Crew. Didn't have his best stuff today. Scoreless in the 4th until Freddie Freeman sends a solo shot to center. LA would hit back-to-back homers in the inning. Miley gave up 7 runs. Milwaukee falls 8-1 for the final. Wisconsin women's hockey released their conference schedule for the upcoming season, and the reigning champs will start WCHA play at home against Minnesota State. But we know the games you want to know about. Their series against Ohio State and Minnesota. The Badgers travel to Columbus in late November. Then 3 weeks later, they'll head to Minneapolis. UW closes out the regular season with 3 of their final 4 series in Madison, with the final 2 against the Gophers and the Buckeyes. And part of NASCAR's 75th anniversary celebration, the sport is naming its 75 greatest drivers, and Matt Kenseth made the list. The Cambridge native is a member of the NASCAR Hall of Fame, a 2-time Daytona 500 champ, and he won the Cup Series back in 2003. We're back after this.
At Weedman Lawn Care, we believe that a lush, beautiful lawn should be enjoyed by the whole family. That's why we offer a kid and pet-friendly program to create a healthier, greener, weed-free lawn that your whole family can enjoy. Our program includes effective applications of targeted weed control and slow-release golf course quality fertilizer to achieve real results. Call or click today for your free quote, or sign up now and see the Weedman difference. Doesn't your family deserve a Weedman lawn?
You've got this. 10 days, 2 kids, and the open road. Tourist traps? Set. Souvenir allowances? Dispersed. Juice boxes? Abundant. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you, with access to over 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs. So when must-see attractions become must-pay with cash adventures, we've got you.
Mom, why is the front door open?
You've got this with Associated Bank.
Did you leave the lights on?
No.
What the?
I'll go check it out.
I'm not a raccoon whisperer, but I can help you upgrade all this.
With free installation on Felco windows, siding, doors, and roofing, plus no money down and no interest for 1 year. There's never been a better time to upgrade your home.
This offer ends soon. Hurry. Call now.
Call 866 for Felco.
Our phones keep us constantly connected.
Please switch to airplane mode.
But what if they had a mode to help us actually connect? Introducing Us Mode, a mode that makes our phones less distracting, so we can focus on quality time. So the notifications we get are the ones that matter. So we're never distracted from what's most important. Visit US Cellular in-store or online to set up Us Mode for free, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, built for us.
It's Hy-Vee's one-day sale. One day only this Thursday. 8-ounce Hy-Vee Choice Reserve ribeyes, just $6.99. Asparagus, just $2.99 a pound. A dozen Bakery Fresh chocolate chip cookies, just $2.99. A value pack of fresh Hy-Vee chicken breasts, just $1.99 a pound. Avocados, just 68 cents each. And Jack's Pizza, only $2.48. Don't miss the one-day sale. One day only this Thursday at Hy-Vee.
The Skinny on Ozempic, Thursday at 6.
Julian's back. One final check of the forecast.
Well, we get one more day of summer-like and sunshine weather for us. We're going to be seeing some chances of rain to start up late for our Thursday, but otherwise, folks, it's another day to get outside and enjoy the weather. Then we're looking at some wet weather from Friday to Saturday to Sunday. Sunday, we're cooling down a bit, and then next week, we're going to be hitting just near seasonable with those lower 70s. But right now, the forecast is holding on to be rather smooth sailing. Lots of sunshine, some breezier conditions, but 70s and sun for a few days straight, and can't beat that around this time of year.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Julian, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.